I'm Jennifer Sanasi. You're watching News 24 Live while the Springboks played an exciting but highly unconvincing game against Argentina on Saturday. Joining me in studio is Sport 24 editor Garen and chief writer Rob, and these two are going to weigh in on kind of a sad game from the Springboks perspective. I mean, Argentina's never beaten us before, and it really looked like they were going to on Saturday.
Right. Morning, Jen. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, I don't know where to start, really. It was one of those highly disappointing test matches. We'd looked forward to the entire day. It kicked off late in South African time. In the morning, we had seen New Zealand really impressive in their victory against Australia. We hoped that South Africa would be better than they were against Argentina the weekend before. But they really looked like they were going to lose that for the first time ever against Argentina. It took until, I think, the 60th minute or so for us to actually take the lead. Then we did lose the lead. Luckily, we got it back at the end to win 33-31. So highly unconvincing. Shocking performances, I think, across the board. It's difficult to know where to start, but the front row were appalling. I thought, not all the Sharks front row, but the two du Plessis brothers plus Guthrie Steenkamp filling in for Beast and Torreira this weekend, shoved backwards at a rate of knots. They actually looked like they were running backwards at some stage. The locks disappointing. I think Flolo was the standout forward yet again. We're sort of banking on him getting us out of trouble. In the back line, Andre Pollard again unconvincing at number 10. He's seen as our future, but he's certainly not our present. So and Damien Dalenda in the centre is also highly unconvincing. The back three sort of missing tackles and all sorts. It was highly unconvincing. We got the 4 points. We didn't pick up a bonus point again for the second week in a row. We'll have to wait to see if that comes back to haunt us. But across the board, Heineke May can't be very happy, even though he sort of talked after the game, the character, talking about the character shown and coming back. But when you outplayed for 60 out of the 80 minutes, it's difficult to find positives out of that. I'm pretty sure both the All Blacks and Australia would have beaten Argentina far easier and will do so when it's their turn to play them in the coming weeks.
Rob, the game almost wanted to make you go and hide in a corner and just wait for it to be over. What was your take on it?
Yeah, well, I must say, at 28-16, Jen, it looked as though the Boks are really under the cosh. And in fact, it looked as though they might even be heading for an embarrassing defeat. I sort of thought that perhaps, if anything, because I'd boldly predicted that the Springboks would win with a bonus point. The bizarre thing is that they very nearly did. They got 3 tries, and towards the end, they were the team finally on the front foot. But for a couple of sort of strange strategic decisions, kicking-wise, they might very well have managed to get the ball back behind the Argentinian defence and actually get that 4th try, which would have been a bizarre way to almost get the 5 points and would have put a totally a deceptive gloss on what was a really poor performance. but having said that, I come back to the fact that, as I say, 28-16, the one thing you can say about the Springboks is somehow they had this sort of bloody-minded dogged insistence not to lose. They actually did produce their best rugby in the final 10-15 minutes, when in fact some of the players who came off the bench made a massive difference. I thought Marcel Coetzee was tremendous as an impact substitute. Bakkies Botha came in and smashed people left, right and centre, whether legally or not. That just gave the Boks a little bit of traction to be able to get the win. So let's not forget that South Africa are top of the table for the little that it means, because of course we've now played the easiest team with respect twice, whereas New Zealand and Australia have still got to play them home and away, and of course the Boks have now got to go on to play New Zealand and Australia, which will really be the acid test. So things not looking great at this stage, but I'm not completely pessimistic, because they did win against massive odds, and it does show that there's something in that side, a resilience that can still see this Boks side prosper.